The huntress thought she had defeated him, but he lay there smiling, waiting to strike a crushing blow. The forest was still. The only sound was a wind rustling through the black pines, whispering like ghosts from the past. Ashra moved through the brush, her bow in hand, footsteps silent as a shadow. Blood marked her path, his blood. The trail was fresh, and the end was near. She was a kingdom's fiercest huntress, raised in the mountain by warriors, trained to track, kill, and survive. For 10 years, she had pursued the Crimson Wolf, the most dangerous mercenary in the eastern lands. He was a myth, a butcher, a ghost. But now he bled. She found him by the river, collapsed against a boulder, his chest soaked red. An arrow, her arrow, was buried deep in his side. His sword lay in the mud. He was slumped, breathing raggedly. She drew her dagger, stepping closer. After all this time, she said coldly, "This is how it ends." His head lifted slowly. His face was streaked with dirt and blood, but his eyes still burned. A deep amber glow, alive with something wild. "You're better than they said," he rasped. She tightened her grip. "They said you were impossible to kill." He chuckled, and the sound was low and broken. "They weren't wrong." Ashra pressed a blade to his throat. "One move, and I end it." He smiled. That smile unnerved her, not because of its arrogance, but because of its calm, like a man who knew something she didn't. "I've waited years to finish this," she said. "You killed my sister. You burned the village at Black Hollow. Do you even remember?" "I remember everything," he said. Her heart beat faster, not from fear, from rage. She had buried that pain in the cold earth of vengeance, and now it was nearly done. "Then say her name," Ashra demanded. "Say it before I kill you." He stared at her, blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. "Mira." She froze. "I remember her eyes." He went on. "She didn't beg. She fought, like you." She growled and pressed the dagger harder. "You monster." "Maybe," he whispered, "but not everything is what you think. Huntress." His eyes flicked sideways for less than a second, but enough for her to sense it. A twitch, a signal. Ashra spun, too late. A blade slashed across her arm, sending her tumbling back. She rolled, bow raised, but the attacker vanished into the trees. She looked to the Crimson Wolf. He was on his feet, the arrow gone. Blood still soaked his tunic, but his stance was strong, sword back in hand. "You," she gasped. He stepped toward her, still smiling. "You thought I was beaten. You let your anger blind you." Ashra clenched her jaw. "You faked a wound." "No, you wounded me, but only enough to set the stage." A dark shape emerged from the trees behind him. Another mercenary. Then another. 3 in total. "You lured me here." "I knew you'd come," he said. "You've been trailing me for years. But you never asked why I let you get so close." Her pulse thundered. "Because I wanted you here." She fired an arrow, but he knocked aside with unnatural speed. The others closed in, forming a half circle. Ashra's heart raced, but her mind remained sharp. "I'll kill you all," she hissed. He nodded, impressed. "Maybe, but you won't leave here the same." She hurled a dagger at one mercenary, striking his thigh. He screamed and fell. She dove into a spin, sweeping her leg and striking another before dashing into the trees. They followed, but she was wind. Ashra ducked through the underbrush, weaving between trees, heart pounding. The trap had been set, but she wasn't broken. Not yet. She reached a narrow ridge above the river. Below, she saw him again, the Crimson Wolf, alone now, standing where she'd first found him. She knocked her final arrow. A breath, a heartbeat. She let it fly, and once again it struck true. He fell. This time he didn't move. She rushed down the slope, blood dripping from her arm, pain in every muscle. She kept the blade ready as she neared the fallen warrior. He was breathing, barely. She stood over him. No tricks this time. He didn't smile. His voice was hoarse. You want answers. I want justice. They're not always the same. Ashra stared down at him, then knelt, then speak. Tell me what my sister died for. He blinked slowly. She was carrying a message, a code, hidden in a pendant. Ashra's breath caught. What? She died protecting it. She was brave, but others wanted that message buried. She grabbed his tunic. What message? He coughed, blood flecking his lips. A list of traitors inside your kingdom. High names. Noble blood. She was trying to reach the mountains. And you killed her. I was sent to retrieve the code. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what she was willing to die for. His eyes locked with hers. She chose to die. Not for a war. Not for me. But to protect the truth. Ashra trembled. The hate inside her wavered. You expect me to believe you were following orders? I expect nothing, he whispered. I just didn't want you to die chasing a lie. She stood slowly. Behind her, the other mercenaries lay defeated or scattered. The hunt was over, but the truth had just begun. 2 weeks later, Ashra stood before the High Council of Elwyn, the sealed pendant in her hand. She had found in the wolf's satchel, wrapped in cloth, untouched. Inside it, a list of names. Noble lords, military commanders, the very people who had sent her on her quest for revenge, traitors, spies, collaborators with the enemy across the border. They had lied, used her, sent her to kill the one man who might expose them. Ashra's voice did not tremble as she spoke before the council. The Crimson Wolf was not the villain. You are. The courtroom echoed with gasps. Faces turned pale. The king stood silent as she laid the names before him. And with that, the kingdom began to unravel. Far beyond the city walls, in a hidden cave deep in the forest, the Crimson Wolf nursed his wounds. His body was broken, but his mission complete. He smiled, not the cruel smile of a predator, but the quiet smile of a man who had turned his final defeat into one last, crushing blow